Hello, friends. The 1107th day of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. Russian troops continue to actively advance in the Kursk region. In the northern part of the Ukrainian bridgehead, the control zone of the Ukrainian armed forces has significantly decreased, and the defense has retreated along the Pogrebki-Ruskoye-Porchnoye line, which limits the maneuverability of Ukrainian units. To the east of Sverdlikovo, Russian forces are expanding the control zone, where fighting has begun both in Lebedevka itself and in the adjacent territories. This advance poses a threat to the positions of the Ukrainian armed forces in the western part of the bridgehead and forces the Ukrainian command to transfer reserves to stabilize the front. South of Sudzha, the enemy advanced east in the Kurilovka area. There they also crossed the Sel River, on which the defense of the Ukrainian army in this area relied. Judging by the map of the military telegram channel Deep State, attempts are underway to cut the Ukrainian bridgehead in the south in order to deprive it of supply lines from Ukrainian territory. The gray zone near the Ukrainian border in the Sverdlikovo area has also decreased from where the Russians had previously crossed into the Sumy region and began actively firing drones along the highway from Sumy to Sudzha, which was largely responsible for the supply of the entire group of Ukrainian armed forces. This happened back in February, and since then, Ukraine has lost more than 60 square kilometers of Kursk region territory. Currently, the Ukrainian armed forces control about 350 square kilometers. Ukrainian military telegram channels have been writing about the threatening situation for the entire group of Ukrainian armed forces on the Kursk bridgehead due to Russian fire control over logistics for several weeks now. And calls for a retreat from the Russian region are already beginning to be heard. Thus, drone and communications expert Beskresnov, call-sign Flash, said that it is time for Ukraine to withdraw its troops from the Kursk region. Perhaps it is time to wind down from the Kursk direction. It is difficult for our people there. As a distraction of enemy resources, this operation, I think, has long since justified itself. But as a political trump card in negotiations, this is now questionable, writes Flash. Let me remind you that Zelensky previously announced his intention to exchange part of the Kursk region for Ukrainian territories. We will exchange one territory for another, he said in an interview with The Guardian. On my own behalf, I would like to add that I did not voice my opinion about the offensive in the Kursk region, because I believed that this was the first stage of some grandiose plan, after which the second stage would follow. I was wrong. Statements about the diversion of resources and taking into account the enemy's advances in the Donetsk region are also questionable in my opinion. The Russians will continue to try with all their might to deprive us of a trump card in peace negotiations. However, there are no signs yet that the command of the Ukrainian armed forces has decided to withdraw troops from the Kursk region. Russian telegram channels report that Ukrainian reserves continue to be transferred to this direction. In the Pokrovsk direction, the Ukrainian armed forces launched a counterattack. They were able to advance in the area of Uspanivka, Kotliny, Pishchany, and Shevchenko. Russian telegram channels believe that Ukrainian troops have launched a counteroffensive, which aims to cut off the Russian bridgehead southwest of Pokrovsk. They also write that Russian reserves are being transferred to the direction. A Ukrainian fighter with the call sign Mochnoy writes that the counteroffensive is going hard. Counteroffensive operations are very hard. Of course, it is better to sit on the defensive and repel attacks, but this time has passed, and something needs to be changed, losing infantry, evacuating the wounded, leaving equipment that is immediately shot down by enemy FPVs, he says. Also, according to Mochnoy, Russia's first line of defense near Pokrovsk has not yet been broken. There have been no serious breakthroughs yet. The fight continues in the vicinity of the villages, he adds. There is no dictatorship in Ukraine, says advisor to the head of the presidential office Podolyak. According to him, open borders a competitive information space and constant elections are proof of the absence of a dictatorship in Ukraine. Let me remind you that since February 2022, the borders have been closed for men to leave Ukraine. Moreover, a real safari has been opened there. The broadcasts of the main TV channels are combined into a telethon, the information policy of which, according to media reports, is controlled by the authorities. Sanctions of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine have been imposed against a number of opposition media and journalists. Elections during the war are not being held, although there should have been regular elections for both president and parliament. In addition, Zelensky and the Ukrainian authorities are reacting negatively to U.S. calls to conclude a ceasefire agreement, lift martial law, and then hold elections. Friends, this channel exists solely thanks to your support. If you have the opportunity and desire to support the channel, I will be very grateful to you. I also want to ask you to leave comments. This helps promote the channel. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.